what I see high momentum leaders do all the time is play what I call the game of now. And the game of now is different than the game of someday. Because with the game of now, you're not waiting for courage in order to take action. You're taking action, and you're letting courage catch up along the way. Because I think that there are 3 words that tend to hold us back from what we want. 3 words. And those 3 words are, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to speak my mind. I'm not ready to run with that idea. I'm not ready to give myself a voice. But the thing that I want to share with you right now is that after spending 10 years studying some of the most extraordinary people on the planet, what I realized is that they all have one thing in common, which is that none of them were ready. And one of my favorite Game of Now stories of all time is the story of this woman, Damayanti Hingorani. And what makes her story really remarkable, Time magazine called her a trailblazer, is that she grew up in poverty. No running water, no electricity, but she had a dream. She had a vision for herself. And that vision was that one day she wanted to become an engineer with Ford Motor Company. And her village and her parents got behind the dream. She was able to get on a boat to the United States, where she got a scholarship to Oklahoma State University. Where are my Oklahoma people? Oklahoma people? No, but Oklahoma. Well, after she leaves Oklahoma, she goes to Detroit, Michigan. Where are my Detroit people? Any Detroit people? Yeah, we got some Detroit people. Okay, all right. We are in the Midwest. So we got some Detroit people. So she goes to Detroit, and she's ready to apply for her dream job, and she gets into a room with the hiring manager, but there was one big problem. This hiring manager, he looks at her, and he says, wait a second, are you applying for the job of an engineer? And she said, yeah. And he says, well, look, I'm sorry, we don't have any female engineers working here right now. See, this was the 1960s, and Ford Motor Company had thousands of engineers on staff, but not a single one of them was a woman. So it's a really deflating moment, right? She could feel her dreams slipping out of her hands. She picks up her resume, she picks up her purse, and she begins to walk out of the door. But before she turns the handle, she decides that she's not going to play the game of someday. She's going to play the game of now. She's not going to wait for courage in order to take action. She's going to take action and let courage catch up along the way. So she musters up all the energy she can. She turns around, she looks this hiring manager in the eyes, and she tells him her story about all the sacrifice that it took for her to get to this country, to get to this city, to get to this very room. And then she says to him, look, if you don't have any female engineers on staff, let's work together. Let's go hire the best of the best and go create a killer team. And this hiring manager in this moment gets so inspired that he goes out and he decides to fight with his colleagues. He fights with his bosses, and in 1967, this woman, Damayanti Hingorani, becomes Ford Motor Company's first female engineer. And the story has, thank you, I think it's a great story. And it actually, there's a little bit of a twist, because she's driving her car around Detroit, and ironically enough, her car breaks down. So she walks to a phone booth, because they had phone booths back then. And when she gets to the phone booth, she realizes she didn't really have anybody to call. See, because she's a newcomer to the country. She doesn't really know anybody. So she opens up the phone book, and she calls the most common Indian name that she can think of. The stranger who answers the phone on that day decides to perform an act of kindness. He finds Damayanti at the side of the road, and together, the two of them, they fix that car, and they fall in love. That man became her future husband and my father. So they start a family together. They have 2 sons, my brother Sanjay and me. And as you can tell, Sanjay's a little bit older than I am, but what they passed on to both of us is to play the game of now. Don't play the game of someday, play the game of now. Don't wait for courage in order to take action and let courage catch up along the way. So Sanjay grows up to become a medical doctor. He's practicing in suburban Michigan when one day he has this idea that maybe he could be on the news reporting what's happening with healthcare in this country. Now, he doesn't have any journalism experience. He doesn't have any on-air experience, but he decides he's going to play the game of now. And after getting rejected a few times, he finally finds himself a job, and for the past 20-plus years, he's been reporting the news as Dr. Suneel Gupta on CNN. As far as my parents go, they are still alive. They are still with us. And in fact, They're with us here right now. So what do you say? Should we bring my mom up to the stage? You know, I wish I could bring her to stage all the time. But the truth is that she is really always with me. Even if she's not with me, she's always with me. And I think we all probably have somebody like that in our lives, somebody who gives us energy, somebody who gives us momentum. And the truth is that you can channel that person really at any time. That's what I do for Mom, because she's a reminder of why I do what I do, but she's also a reminder of why you do what you do. Because beneath the numbers, beneath the spreadsheets, beneath the deadlines, you empower people, you lead people, you help them achieve their aspirations. And by doing that, you help make their story possible, just the same way that people made our story possible. And so I want us to make a pact together right now as a community. And that pact is that we are not going to play the game of someday. We're going to play the game of now. We're not going to wait for courage in order to take action. We're going to take action, and we're going to let courage catch up along the way, because it always will. And I want us to seal that pact right now, together, all of us, by saying 3 times, I am ready. Okay, so we're ready to do this? Yes. All right, let's go. Number 1, I am ready. Again, I am ready. Louder. I am ready. You bet you are. Go get them.